Can you have a better career outside of the WWE? The Hart Family Disrespect, Danhausen, Grand Theft Auto 6, and much more. Tables, Ladders, and Chill starts now.
Can you have a better wrestling career outside of the WWE? Yes, you can. I think the narrative of WWE being the only place you can land that matters is ridiculous. It's been proven time and time again that WWE really isn't the end all be all when it comes to your wrestling career. Kurt Angle, prime example. Kurt Angle had a better wrestling career in TNA than he did in WWE. If you look at it, this is no offense to his WWE run, but the beginning of that run, he was playing a tweener. You know, I remember when he got his hair cut and he was wearing the stupid wig and the earmuffs over it and all that. I feel like the 1996 Olympian was a laughing stock in the beginning of his career until he became that wrestling machine. When he started wearing that mouthpiece, he took that and brought it to TNA. His legendary career in TNA against people like AJ Styles, Sting, Abyss, Booker T, Big Papa Pump. Kurt Angle had a better career in TNA than he did in WWE. Mercedes Moné. Sasha Banks was like that in WWE. But Mercedes Moné, her quality of matches by far levels above what she's done in WWE. There are certain wrestlers who I feel like under the WWE banner, they get lost and they can't beat themselves. I like how Sasha and Naomi stood their ground and said, "This ain't for me." Naomi took her talents to TNA as well and leveled up. She leveled up. She got what she was deserved to get. WWE, I felt, seen that and said, "Hey, we got to get her back." Drew McIntyre is someone who I feel like, for some reason, he just gets lost in the WWE shuffle. Wherever he goes outside of there, he's proven that he is a force. Is a force. I don't feel like WWE know what to do with them. Another person I want to bring up, Awesome Kong. Her reign in TNA and in Japan, legendary. When she went to WWE, even though she didn't really have the chance and opportunity to find that karma character, I felt like when she was placed on that circuit, it wasn't going to be the same level as the Awesome Kong reign. Jim Ross even told her she wasn't going to make it because of her size. And with that dude being a part of that company at the time and having those thoughts about her, I don't know what would have happened with karma. I think it was a blessing in disguise that, unfortunately, her ties with WWE ended because I feel like it would have tarnished her career in TNA. Bayley. Everybody loves Bayley. What are they doing with her? What have they been doing with her? I look at Bayley now and I see when she goes to AAA and how excited she is and how it's like a breath of fresh air. I hope that they make the official move to send Bayley to AAA because she'll get better opportunities and not be lost in that shuffle that they got going on over there. Not every wrestler, not every wrestler's career should be considered looked at only because of their reign in WWE. I just feel like Shelton Benjamin. Look at what he's doing in AEW. Look at what Bobby Lashley is doing in AEW. And look what they did to them in WWE. What you guys say?
You made a lot of valid points, none in which I disagree with. But here's the thing about the WWE. In society, it's the measuring stick, right? Perfect example. I'm not going to drop no names because ain't nobody paid for no promotion. Top tier burger chain sells all these burgers in the world. Burgers ain't that good. Quality ain't that great, but you know what you're getting. But you got that mom and pop restaurant that sit on the corner of your neighborhood that serve you the best burger in the world. Nobody knows about it. That's what it is when you up against the machine that is the WWE. I love the WWE. I would love to work more than I have in the past with the WWE. So this is no knock to the WWE, but this is tables, ladders, and chill. We got to keep it a buck. The WWE used to be the place you went to get hot. When you went to WWE, it was because you were a Kurt Angle, or you were a Mark Henry, or you were a Ken Shamrock. Hell, even Mike Tyson. You go there to get hot, and then you go on to do other things. That's what the WWE used to be. Now you have a Stephanie Vakura, you have a Julia, you have a Finn Balor, you have a Asuka, you have a Shinsuke Nakamura, you have even in NXT, a Adam Cole, a Kyle O'Reilly, a Bobby Fish. You have all these people who were hot outside of the WWE, who then the WWE brings in and they cool off tremendously. That is the problem now with the WWE. Absolutely, you can have success outside of the WWE, but to the common viewer, if it didn't happen in the WWE, it didn't happen. Meanwhile, you got MLW kicking ass, TNA, AEW, New Japan, independent promotions. I work with quite a few of them. I just did an event with Louisiana Wrestling Alliance and Jay Lethal was there. Wrestle Hunter Law. Great match. It's just if it didn't happen here, it didn't happen. That's to the common viewer. But we know we can go watch what the Gorillas of Destiny did in New Japan versus them running behind Solo Sokoa. I think it's a problem when you do leave the WWE, then you have to go get hot again. There have been several wrestlers who were here and left the WWE here. Now they have to go here again. You mentioned it. Drew McIntyre did it. Cody Rhodes did it. Bronson
Mm.
Reed did it. Most recently, Killer Cross. He came in WWE. People wanted him. He was hot. NXT didn't, for some reason, cut it on the main roster, let him go. Now he had to go build himself up again. The WWE used to be where you go to get hot. You were hot, then you got hotter, then you took off. Now it's you hot. We want you here. Then if we don't want you anymore, you have to go rebuild that brand again. And it's a testament to those who grinding it. Your big Casses and Enzos, your Zack Ryders, like, your Bronson Reeds, who got cut, went to Japan, came back. So you can absolutely be successful outside of WWE, but to the common viewer, if it didn't happen here, it didn't happen. So I agree with you, brother. I agree.
Shout out to Adam Cole, by the way.
Listen, this is for you, you, and especially you. I'm bringing to the table this week something that I hold near and dear to my heart. No pun intended. And like always, I prepared a statement. Can we please talk about one of the most disrespected families in professional wrestling?
Mm,
The Hart family.
mm.
And at the center of that conversation, one man, Bret Hart. Now let's get something straight. Bret Hart isn't just a Hall of Famer. He isn't just another former world champion. We're talking about a man who helped carry WWF through the new generation era. A man who put on classic matches with just about anybody. A man whose nickname was the excellence of execution because when the bell rang, nobody did it better. And yet somehow, when people talk about the greatest of all time, Bret Hart doesn't always get the respect he deserves. Let's start with what happened in the WWF. This is a man who spent years being loyal to a company, multiple time champ, intercontinental champ, tag team champ, king of the ring winner, one of the faces of the organization. Then, after all that loyalty, after all that work, after helping build a company throughout the 1990s, he gets caught in the middle of one of the most controversial moments in wrestling history, the Montreal Screwjob. But before that happened, WWE had already shown Bret just how valuable they believed he was. In 1996, he signed what was reportedly a 20-year, $10.5 million contract. The plan was for Bret to become an ambassador, spokesperson, and a key figure in the company's future. Then suddenly, WWF told him they could no longer afford the deal and they encouraged him to negotiate elsewhere. Think about that for a second. After all that loyalty, Bret Hart leaves WWF under a cloud of controversy while the company moves forward into the Attitude Era. And then comes WCW. Now, this is where I really get upset. WCW signs Bret Hart to one of the biggest contracts in wrestling history, a deal worth millions, a deal that made headlines throughout the industry, a deal that should have changed the balance of power in the Monday Night Wars. And what did WCW do with him? Absolutely nothing. You mean to tell me you signed arguably the best wrestler in the world immediately after the Montreal Screwjob, a real life wrestling story everyone was talking about, and your plan is to stick him in random storylines, referee matches, and constantly cool him off before he even got hot? You kidding me? This is Bret Hart. The guy should have been positioned as the biggest acquisition in the company's history. Instead, WCW seemed to never fully understand what they had. We never got the version of WCW Bret Hart where he became the centerpiece he earned every right to be. And unfortunately, the disrespect hasn't stopped. A few years ago at the Hall of Fame, Bret Hart was attacked in front of a live audience. How unbelievable is that? Fast forward a couple years ago, Bret Hart was denied entry to a WWE event because he was told there were no more tickets. We're talking about a man whose contributions helped shape modern wrestling. Not only should he got a ticket, it should be a Bret Hart section in every arena. And the tragedies that struck the Hart family happened again and again. The loss of Owen Hart, the injuries, the setback, the hardships the family endured inside and outside the wrestling business. And while we're talking about respect, let's discuss the last act of Hart still connected to the WWE. Natalia. Here's a woman who spent 2 decades with the company, a record setting performer, a locker room leader, someone who has helped countless women behind the scenes, someone who represents one of the wrestling's most important families. And yet, how often is she presented as a major player? How often is she given meaningful storylines? How often does WWE truly capitalize on the Hart legacy through Natalia? Not nearly enough. For years, she's been one of the most reliable performers on the roster, constantly helping elevate others, and yet she's rarely treated as the important figure she actually is. The Hart family gave wrestling some of its greatest performers, greatest matches, and greatest moments. From Stu Hart in the dungeon to Bret, Owen, Natalia, and everyone influenced by their legacy, the Hart family helped shape professional wrestling as we know it today. So when I hear people overlook Bret when I hear people downplay his influence, when I hear people act like his WCW run wasn't one of the biggest missed opportunities in wrestling, I shake my head because the facts are the facts. Bret Hart was one of the greatest technical wrestlers who ever lived. The Hart family is one of the greatest wrestling families who ever lived. And for a family that has given so much to the business, they spend far too much time being overlooked, unappreciated, and disrespected. That's not an opinion, FTZ. That's a fact. Did I do it?
You did it. You
Hey,
did it.
then it's done. Then it's done.
And you took the words out of my mouth when you started speaking about Natalia, 'cause that's what I was going to bring up. Natalia, let's keep it 100. She's the best female wrestler you got today.
Been that.
Been that. Natalia, what hurts me about Natalia is that she literally switched up her whole character, reinvented it herself again.
You know what? Before we got into this, what was your question? Can you have a successful career outside of WWE? She's
Right.
in the WWE, but she's been making headlines outside of the WWE. So,
It, it,
yeah,
it's a it's a crying shame that we don't see OG Hart Natalia playing the character that she plays outside WWE in the WWE. If they let her be the brute force that she is, oh man, that females roster would be shooken up. As far as Bret Hart, you are right. The disrespect that he gets is there's no excuse for it. There's no excuse for it. I will admit that he is probably the most loyal wrestler that ever came under Vince McMahon's banner. I don't really agree with some of his views that he's been saying lately, but that doesn't matter. The disrespect to the Hart family, the iconic Hart family, it needs to be studied. It really does. It needs to be studied.
but even that, when Tyson Kidd and Davey Boy Jr. were there, they had a little run, but it was never what it could be and should be with the Hart family. For some
No.
reason, the Hart family doesn't get celebrated. They're not highlighted. And when you hear Cody Rhodes' theme song, what does it say? Wrestling has more than one royal family. One of the first royal families in wrestling is the Hart family. So I had to bring it to the table, FTZ.
Let's climb it. Let's climb it. I don't know what we're going to get, but I'm so intrigued. Lyra Valkyria is now a heel. I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this. I know she gets a little bit of knock with her character, and a lot of eyes don't really care for Lyra. But hey, think I, I feel it. I believe a character change was needed with this lady, and I think she got something brewing up her sleeve with this heel turn. I think it's something that she knew months leading in. That's where she was going to land as a heel. I think she had the time to study and perfect on how she going to come across this. You knew between Bailey and Lyra, they were going to split up. Somebody had to be the heel. They kind of tried that with Bailey a little bit when she was talking to herself and doing that little crazy gimmick that she was doing, which didn't go nowhere. Because let's face it, Bailey is in a position now to where nobody wants to boo Bailey. Nobody wants to boo Bailey. Nobody, it's just not going to happen. It's not. Lyra needed this heel turn to create another layer to her persona and to her career because she kind of been cold. She's kind of been cold. Ever since her feud with Becky, she just been lost in the shuffle teaming with Bailey. Lyra can go in that ring. I just did my research and did my homework and did some views on her matches that she had in the Indies as a heel. I'm telling you right now, it's something to see. I can't wait to see what she's going to do with this heel turn if booked right. Because you know it always comes down to how you're booked though. It's always go down to how you're booked. I hope that they book this lady right. I hope that it adds a good layer to her career because I like her. I like Lyra. I really do. She can go in that ring. I just feel like she just needs to find that inner dog in her. And I think with her being the heel now, she's going to find it. I'm up the ladder of Lyra Valkyria. Make me proud, Lyra. Make me proud.
Make us proud, Lyra. Make us proud. I don't have much to say about the Lyra Hill turn because I'm just going to watch it unfold in real time. I mean, that's all I can do. But I will say this about Bailey. Bring back the hugger. Nothing Bailey has really done outside of the hugger has hit. Bailey's just a baby face. She's one of those people who caught in limbo. Her heel work is never really heel work because she doesn't change much about her. It's the same Bailey. When you go heel, you gotta do something. Hulk Hogan was red and yellow for his whole career. And what was the opposite of red and yellow? Black and white. Dyed the beard, start wearing do-rags. Oh, you ain't never had waves, Hulk Hogan. Start wearing do-rags, weight belts, all this stuff because even though it was Hulk Hogan and he probably didn't have to do it, he completely changed that character. He changed the way he walked. He came to the ring strumming the belt. He changed his music. Everything about Hulk Hogan changed. And we saw what we got. Nowadays, heel turns, you don't get that. You get maybe new music, same gear, same moveset, same everything. You have to commit to it for it to work and really be effective. So hopefully we get that with Lyra Valkyria. So FT's is up the ladder on Lyra Valkyria. I'm up the ladder this week too on everybody's favorite wrestler, Danhausen. And I prepared a statement. I'm not going to refer to him as an active in-ring wrestler because we haven't really seen it yet. And guess what? I know this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm perfectly okay with Danhausen being used primarily as a backstage act slash correspondent instead of an actual wrestler. There, I said it. Now, before the Danhausen fans come after me with jaws of teeth and try to curse me, hear me out. Do I think Danhausen is talented? Absolutely. Do I think he's entertaining? Without question. Do I think he's one of the most unique characters in wrestling today? 100%. But not every entertaining personality needs to be pushed as a top star in the ring. What made Danhausen stand out in the first place wasn't five-star matches. It wasn't technical wrestling clinics. It wasn't match of the year candidates. It was the character, the voice, the mannerism, the ridiculousness, the weird interviews, the awkward interactions, the fact the second he appears on screen, you immediately know who he is, and that's value. In an era where so many wrestlers blend together, Danhausen stands out. And sometimes standing out is more important than putting on a 20-minute banger every Monday night. When I see Danhausen backstage, his interviews, comedy segments, or popping up in random situations, I'm entertained. I ain't gonna hold you. And that's his job to entertain. Not everybody needs to be chasing the championship. Not everybody needs to be throwing classics. Not everybody needs to be wrestling every single week. Some people are attraction acts. Some people are character acts. And Danhausen is one of the best character acts in modern wrestling. The truth is, if Danhausen wrestled every week, some of the magic will probably disappear. Part of what makes him work is you never know when he's going to show up or what weird thing he's going to do next. Less can be more. Meanwhile, as a backstage personality, he can interact with everybody on the roster. Main eventers, mid-carders, tag teams, legends. Doesn't matter. His character works with all of them. Let's be honest. Wrestling needs more personalities. For years, fans have complained that wrestling companies don't create larger-than-life characters anymore. Then when someone actually creates a character, people immediately want to turn them to a full-time work rate wrestler. Why? Danhausen's greatest strength has always been being Danhausen, not Bret Hart, not Kurt Angle, not Bryan Danielson, but being Danhausen. So if his role is making people laugh, conducting bizarre interviews, annoying wrestlers, and occasionally showing up to cause chaos, that's perfectly fine with me because at the end of the day, wrestling is supposed to be entertaining, and whether you love him or hate him, Danhausen is very nice, very evil, and very entertaining. Danhausen, you are up the ladder.
I love Danhausen. I love him, man. Uh, there is. I was a little with the debut because that it wasn't what we was expecting. But man, this guy has took that character and
He
really
did it. He
he
did it.
did it. He
He
did
did
it.
it.
He was doing it before WWE, but man, this dude right here, he has over 70 items on WWE Shop right now. Over 70 items. That is crazy. I don't know what kind of I don't know, but the thing that he did with that with those Knicks, the whole uncursing the Knicks and uncursing Stephen A. Smith,
Listen,
and that
all I know is if you're watching this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, then you're cursed. Now it's time for my favorite part of the show, the chill, because we such chill guys. FTZ, what's been on your mind this week? What are you just chilling with?
brother, you might have to get that censor button out. You might have to get that censor button out. Look, I try not to pay attention to a lot of stuff that I see on the internet. I try my hardest to just scroll and ignore.
To chill. You try your best to
Yeah,
chill.
I try to chill. I think my feathers started getting ruffled when that dude from UFC had called Michelle Obama a man. I don't watch UFC no more, so I don't know his name. Don't really care what his name is. But then you got people the likes of Val Venis, a washed up attitude era character that wasn't going to go nowhere, playing a porn star. Someone who's bitter and for years have been running his mouth about shit that he don't know nothing about. He's saying that The Rock sold his soul and talking all that trash about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and recently saying that Michelle Obama, he demands that Michelle Obama takes a test to prove that she is not a man. Who the fuck are you, Val Venis, that you gotta demand some stuff like that? I want to know who's still interviewing Val Venis because the dude's political views and his rants got him blocked on Twitter. He's not on any social media circuit because of his words. He's been banned. So who's still interviewing this dipshit? For him to still be out and say the things that he's saying, I don't know, but it's ridiculous. He's an idiot. He makes no sense. His career never amounted to anything. Nobody remembers a Val Venis match. Val Venis needs to shut his ass up, continue to smoke his marijuana, and live the life that he wants to live. Keep your views to yourself if you want to disrespect people and their ethnicity, their gender, and just shit that don't have anything to relate to Val Venis. Another thing I want to bring to the table, where's Glow? I'm ready to go back and proceed into caution. I miss Naomi. I hope all is well. It's just it. We need Naomi back, man. We need Naomi back. I believe that when Naomi won that title, she was going to be a fighting champion. She dropped that belt to no, she didn't drop the belt. She relinquished the title, And ever since she relinquished that title, what have they been doing with it? Not defending it. I'm ready to proceed with caution. I'm ready for her to drop this baby, get back in shape, and come back to that screen and light up the WWE. That character that she created, I hated that she had to put a pause on it. I hated it. Man, she needs to come back, Archie. She needs to come back because I was so curious to see where she was gonna go. I was so curious, bro.
Before I get into what I'm chilling with, one thing I always tell people, I'm an artist, innovator, and an ally. I don't attack people. I don't discourage people. And everybody grandma told them this when they was kids. If you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing at all. And to touch on the Naomi Trinity thing, before I get into what I'm chilling with, hey, Big Jimmy, we ain't never gonna forgive you for this. Never. Here's what I'm chilling with this week, FTZ. Grand Theft Auto 6 finally got a release date. We've been waiting on this for a decade now. But it's being reported and said that there won't be any physical copies of the game. When you buy the physical copy, the box is just gonna, the case is gonna include a code. No game. So this is what I'm chilling with. And like always, I prepared a statement. And especially you, I need to vent about something because the physical media conversation got me hot. I got a big problem with no physical copies of Grand Theft Auto 6. A big problem. And before somebody says, well, Archie, digital is more convenient, I know it's more convenient. It's not the point. The point is, we are losing experiences. We are losing memories. We are losing things we could actually hold in our hands. Younger people might not understand this, but there was a time when getting a new game wasn't just pressing the download button and waiting for progress. It was an event. You get that new game, you immediately open the case before you got home. You read every page in the instruction booklet, every page, the controls, the stories, the character bios, the maps, everything. Don't even get me started on music. Some of y'all just click Spotify and keep it moving, not us. We buy the CD or the cassette tape, spend hours reading the credits because I wanted to know who produced the album, who wrote the songs, who played the guitar, who did the artwork. We read everything. And here's one thing that really takes me back, FTZ: gaming magazines. My mom would not buy me gaming magazines. So you know what I did? I used to write the cheat codes on my hand in the grocery store and hopefully didn't sweat it off before I got home. Not copying, not pasting, not Googling, writing them down. We had pages of codes and tips, unlockables, fatalities, secret characters, hidden levels. Sometimes you spend more time reading the magazine than actually playing the game. And when we talk about wrestling, we're talking about wrestling posters, trading cards, magazines, VHS tapes, DVD collections. You put them on your wall, you put them on your shelf, you traded them with your friends, you took them to school to show people what you were a fan of. You could feel these things. Now, everything is digital, everything is temporary, everything exists on a server until somebody decides it doesn't, but nobody can take away your old posters, your trading cards, or your CDs. They can take away the manual I read thousands of times. Those are moments. These things are pieces of our lives. So when people tell me physical media doesn't matter anymore, I respectfully disagree because physical media wasn't just about owning something. It was about the experience surrounding it, the anticipation, the excitement, the discovery, the memories. And if we're moving toward a future where everything is digital, then maybe that's progress. But I'll tell you this, FTZ, a little piece of the magic is disappearing with it. And that's something I will never be okay with.
What's this? It's a physical copy of an NBA 2K game. Who's on the cover? The late great Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bean.
This is something physical that I can touch and sit on my mantle one day. You mentioned something that means something very close to me. I collect wrestling magazines still to this day. I collect action figures still to this day. Posters still to this day for memorabilia. Now your magazines is on the internet. When you go on Facebook and you read through the news circuit, that's your magazine right there. I want the physical copy. And for the fact that they are about to release a physical copy of a game that you can open and don't have a disc, but just a code, doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make that's stupid. Make the disc, man. Make the disc. We've been waiting over 10 years for Grand Theft Auto 6, and you can't give us a physical copy disc for the game?
Give me a keychain or something.
A t-shirt or something.
Something to show me that this was worth the wait and that you appreciate my patience. I couldn't wait to get home reading the video game, the back of the game and the magazines and the figures and tearing open trading cards. Even that is digital now. People tear trading cards open on the phone. Nah, fam, I got to tear that thing open and hopefully I don't bend the edges. I used to collect cards. I used to collect comics. I used to collect sneakers. Even going to the shoe store is a terrible experience these days. Shoe stores used to be lit.
Yeah.
Now you got a raffle. You got to wait in line. You got to give somebody an email address to go buy some bread at the grocery store. Digital ain't all bad, but in certain instances, you said one word, Frank, memorabilia. I think memory is a part of that word somewhere. I ain't no scholar, but I feel memory is part of memorabilia. And if not, I'm making it to part of it right now. But that's what I'm chilling with today. Looking forward to playing the new Grand Theft Auto, but I wish they had gave me something. Just give me something. Rockstar Games and Big Jimmy would never forgive you for this. Ever.
Lyra, make me proud. Make me proud.